Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome back to episode 5 of the Sundowners Handbook. I'm not even going to pretend like I haven't tried this before. This is a non alcoholic, it's called Mango Card. It's, um, it's like a wheat brew with real mango, and it actually tastes really good. But the only reason that I've actually tried it was because I recorded a freaking episode for you guys, and the mic that I was using was like cutting in and out, and it was like an hour long. So then I was just gonna be like, you know what, you guys could deal with it because it was actually pretty good. It was pretty good. And then I tried to like edit it and export it, and it was just too much for my phone. So I got irritated and I deleted it. But in that pod that you'll never see because it's long gone, a freaking shark was chasing something and it straight ran into the boat. And I think if I ever pull this boat out again, I'm going to paint the bottom of it blue or some type of light color, maybe like a beige, so that the fish can see. Because I feel like I painted it black because I like black. And I painted like a blue undercoat first. And then I painted black over top of it so that I knew that I got all of the spots. But honestly, I think that like the fish cannot see it, especially like in the dark, because like when I'm sleeping, I feel a lot of turbulence in the water. So let's I I got one piece of watermelon here, and we're gonna watch. We're gonna sauce up the side a little bit. I don't think this will stay. Pretty pretty messed up, but I got some tahini. Toss that on top. Little good stuff in there. When I used to drink, take like a we would make micheladas or just like bloody beers for breakfast. Oh yeah. Hold on. Let's tilt it. No foam. Oh. So cheers, sundowners, to another episode, another week, and I got some things to tell you. I got this pod will be out probably after I get done doing everything that I'm doing this week. But this week I am, well, next week I guess, I'm taking a road trip. I'm gonna drive from here all the way to Tennessee. I have some things that I got to do in Tennessee, and then I'm gonna probably stop on like maybe some springs, and there's a place called Devil's Den. It's like one of the most picturesque little. It's kind of like a cave or something. I don't really know. I've never been, so we're gonna check it out. Maybe I'll make a little vlog for you guys, because the last time I went on a road trip, I drove from here all the way up to Maine, and then across to Chicago and all the way back down. And I didn't even make it to like Georgia before something crazy happened. I opened my door. I like got a Subway sandwich. I opened my door, and this giant nest of like baby spiders exploded by like the side window all over all over me. So that was like the first time I ever drove long distance, other than when I drove from California to here. But even then, like I got my first day, got to New Mexico, and I like the minute that I drove in there, I got sick. Like I was like turned green, and I felt like I was driving on this road forever. It was just a straight, like it was a 2-lane road. So there was a bunch of like truckers, and then there was me, and nobody else was on the road. But my phone kept like updating. Obviously, like the time changed because I knew that I was driving through like a different time zone. So I was aware that the time was going to change. It was going to go from like 2 to 3 or 3 to 2. I don't really remember, but I just remember it was like 2 hours till I got to this hotel. And then all of a sudden it like was like went back. Like I was on this road for like 6 freaking hours, which it was not 6 hours long. I GPSed it when I got to the hotel, and it was not that long. But it was weird, man. And then I like got out and I felt like I was going to throw up. And on the side of the road there's like this, it was like a huge drop off and then like a ditch, And I got out because I was like, dude, I need to like pull over. I need some air. And I almost fell into this ditch like a freaking tumbleweed. But let's try this because I tried this last time and I actually like cut some pineapple for you guys. I lined the whole rim, but you know what? I ain't got no patience. I'm just gonna toss this little watermelon in there. Boom. All right. Cheers. Mm. Yeah, that's pretty good. The tahini really makes it, makes you feel like authentic. There was some tamarino sticks, tamarid. I don't know what it's called, but I've never had it like fresh. I've just had the like candy version, but I almost got it. Almost got it for you guys. And I was like, you know what? I'm sick of this. Sick of you guys already. It's only episode 5. The sunrise is pretty nice today. So I think today I kind of wanted to talk about like I've had the opportunity to live as both genders, and I think like I used to be really ashamed of it. I used to like never want to talk about it, and I just shied away from it because it was like it was always something that people used to invalidate me. Like, oh well, you understand because you used to be a girl, and it's like no, I don't understand the regular female experience because I was like never really living a regular female experience anyways. So I never really like talked about it and I tried to like stray away from it because people just like people use it, maybe not in a malicious way, but it just didn't sit right with me. So I never really talked about it, but now it's just like it is what it is, and I personally think that like I was I was meant to live this life. I was meant to live as both genders so that I could understand where certain people are coming from. Whereas if I was born not trans, I never would experience what it's like to like be a male in society or have like the experience of being a woman in society and then the experience of being a man in society. So, I think that like personally I was made to be trans. I don't think that I was ever meant to be a cis male. And I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong is like they think that I'm trying to like imitate a cis man experience and I'm not. I'm just trying to like I want to blend in as a cis man in society because it's a lot easier for me. But with my life and my experience and the interactions that I have with people, like you're having an interaction with a trans person on purpose because I'm gonna understand you in a way that like other people cannot, or maybe give you a different perspective um, that other people can't because they just haven't been on both sides. So, like my experience as a girl was, I guess it was similar to like a regular female experience. I tried to um, I tried to live as a girl for a really long time, and I think like the most solidifying thing in like my parents' mind, like after all of this and after um, like I transitioned and everything, like when they started to accept it, they were like looking back at like experiences that like we had as a kid, and um, how you doing, boss? Not too bad, man. Um, but like when I was a kid, my stepmom would buy me all these clothes, right? And I remember it was like second grade. Sorry, there's freaking flies flying around everywhere. I was in second grade, and she got me this big puffy jacket. I hate puffy jackets, anyways. Like I was a big kid, and I always got made fun of for being like a fat kid. So I didn't want to wear things that made me look even fatter. Just made sense to me. But on top of that, like it was bright fucking purple or like bright pink. It was one of those. And I had a big puffy jacket. It was a Raiders jacket, and it was reversible. So like one side was black and one side was gray. So I would be like, dude, boom, like go to lunch and come back in a different outfit because I just flipped my shirt inside out. But um, I remember I would like stash clothes, and I would wear clothes underneath the clothes that I had, and I started. like just dumping my clothes in like the lost and found. And she would get so pissed off at me because I mean she bought me brand new clothes. Like it, I understand she was mad, you know, but at the same time, like I I just I couldn't do it. And she laughs about it now, but like at the time, it was something that was so like it made me so upset. I cried a lot. I cried a lot about my clothes and the way that I presented as a kid in school because like I just wanted to be one of the boys. And like I think like towards 8th grade when I started hitting puberty and um like growing up a little bit, I realized that like I had to try and blend in with the rest of the kids so that I didn't get made fun of because girls are mean and so are guys. Like they're all mean. It doesn't matter what gender you are. They're all mean. So I just tried really hard to like make friends with all the girls and the girls liked me. Like they were always nice to me and they always tried to include me and I think it was because like maybe I was like the duff. I made I made them look better probably. And I just had like a lot of anger. Like I did a lot of reckless things and I was always in detention and I was always doing things that I shouldn't do because it was just like I was just so upset. Because like yeah, you're going through puberty and you're having all these weird like emotions and feelings and you're like you can't even express them because it just isn't normal, you know. But I tried really hard to be a part of the girls and a part of the group and I think everybody knew, you know, everybody knew that like I was definitely fruity, a fruitcake, but like I never would have had those experiences or understood what it was like to like go through a girl puberty if I was never trans, right? So I embrace it now, but back then it was just like it was so hard to deal with. Like, and I didn't know what trans was. Like, it was like I said, it was just like so taboo back in the day. So I just thought that like I was just a fucking raging lesbian, and but like as I when I got out of high school and like well, actually when I was in high school, I started just like I just wore a lot of workout clothes because workout clothes was like the mid between like I'm still a girl, but like I'm also just super athletic and boyish. I wore like cargo shorts and a t-shirt, so I guess it wasn't even that. So um, when I started embracing the fact that I was like into girls and that I didn't care because I did care. You know, I cared how people treated me and what people thought of me because like you live 4 years in high school, like you want it to be bearable. And there wasn't a lot of people that were out. I mean, and the people that were out were either like um, really solid in themselves, so they like just kind of fit in with their group, and they already had groups. But like me, I kind of just roamed around, so like I never really had a group except for like the stoners or whatever. But like, and they were nice to me, but I just didn't want everybody to have something to say about me because I'd rather just blend in or just not be there at all, you know. And but when I started to like accept who I was, which was like after high school. I just realized that like the life of being like a lesbian, like just being a masked lesbian, like I was just like I would look in the mirror and I was just like, this is not me, man. Like I love women. I love dating women and but I just there was just something about it that was like not right in my head. It's weird to say that like it wasn't me when it was me, you know? Like I'm looking in the mirror and that's me, but it just did not feel like me. So but I lived like that for a long time. And it was just like a progressive. Like I accepted the fact that like I was into girls and I started dressing more mask and then I cut my hair and then well I got an undercut and then I cut my hair. It's just you know the typical stages of like being a mask lesbian, obviously. But I just like I knew that it wasn't me. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel like me. And if I would have known sooner that like transitioning was something, I would have done it a long time ago. But I personally think that you need to go through that puberty to understand yourself. Because, like, I knew that I was a boy way back when. Even though I didn't know that transitioning or anything was a thing, I knew it. But the experience of going through a female puberty and being able to, like, sympathize with women, I guess just gives me an advantage with women, but it also is like something that solidified like who I am and like what I wanted to do with my life. Like, because a lot of things change chemically when you go through puberty, you know what I mean? And then being able to experience like a male puberty like that, um, it it really did morph me into who I am today. So I personally think that you need to go through it, regardless of like the changes that happen that you wish didn't. I think that it really just molds you into who you're meant to be because, like, you have to have those awkward, like, because there's a lot of sexual feelings that come with puberty, right? So, like, you have to have that awkward stage of, like, well, what do I like? And experiment with yourself because if you, like, don't, like, a lot of people think that sexuality and like gender are the same thing and they're just not. Like, you can a lot of trans men transition and are still into guys, and that has nothing to do with like your transition, and it doesn't invalidate your transition. But I used to think that a long time ago, like, why would you transition if you're just gonna like bang the same gang, you know what I mean? So it's, I understand where people get that from, but now that I'm a little more educated and I'm just like, okay, but I'm definitely 100% straight and into women. That did not change my perspective on my sexuality, anyways. But it does for a lot of people. A lot of people think that they're like just a lesbian and then they transition and they have those um, chemical changes in their mind, in their head, and then they realize that like I am into guys, and they are bi or whatever. But like I see that a lot. But I also like didn't understand it at first. So I sympathize. I sympathize with the people that aren't educated and don't understand that because I didn't at first. But somebody asked me like what I wish for on 11/11. I wish I wish all the time. I don't just wait for 11/11. I do like I think that like when I was a kid I used to wish for like really selfish things. I really wanted gold. I think that like I really wanted like some real gold, some real gold coins. And that's funny because like when I was reflecting my last pod that I was gonna make you guys, I was reflecting on like, did I know that I was gonna live on a boat one day? And like, no, I didn't. Like, realistically, I did not know that I would be here right now. But I do see like the different ways that it manifested into what it is now. And I think something that people can relate to is that like when you're growing up, like you have a lot of like detachment and disassociation. So like you just wake up randomly during like 1 year. Like I've been mentally checked out for like a year and a half, and now I'm in 5th grade and doing like a math test, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But I have like a lot of those type of memories as a kid, and it was always like during a concert or something like super annoying. Like I would wake up and and I would be like in the middle of like some flute concert for a Christmas show or something, and I like had no idea how to play the flute or like what song we were on. And I remember, I don't know what grade I was in. I don't remember a lot, but I do remember that the typical like what do you want to be when you grow up? It was probably kindergarten. It was probably something little. Yeah, maybe 1st grade, 2nd grade. I don't know. I just remember that like I had my two best friends on either side of me. I think Eddie and Steven. And the line just kept getting closer and closer to me, and it was like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And everybody's saying like a doctor or a nurse or a firefighter or a policeman, and I just said a firefighter because the guy next to me said a firefighter, but because realistically, I wanted to be a pirate. I wanted to be like a sailor, but I didn't want to like be in the army or anything. But in my head, like that wasn't a realistic goal or like a job. So I just said whatever homeboy said next to me because I was like not even awake 5 minutes ago to even know that we were on stage. But like things like that, like you're it's funny the way that like the universe will show you exactly where you're gonna be without you even knowing it. What's it called in the book? Like fuck, what's it called? Like foreshadowing. For you, a lot of foreshadowing in your life. Um, I have like, but like realistically, I wanted to be a pirate because I wanted to find some treasure. I wanted to find some gold. And you know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I will find some deep sea underwater treasure. I do want to. I want to get certified in scuba diving here soon. I got a lot of things planned, but yeah, next week I'm taking a trip to Tennessee. I got some plans there, and then I should be able to talk about this now since it's probably going to be over. But I got an email from some people in the beginning of the year that wanted to shoot an episode. It was like a political episode, um, about the LGBTQ community, and they wanted me to be on it. So I was gonna do that in like March or something, but they pushed it back to now. And so I'll be flying out to LA. What's up, man? What are you doing? Morning. I do podcasts. I make like podcasts and videos. Yeah. Right? Thanks, man. You're a brat. Have a good one, man. But I'll be flying out to LA next week and doing that for a couple of days. And it's funny because I just said like a couple of days ago or a couple pods ago that I did not want to be somebody that had to make political decisions. And not that I'm making political decisions, but I am going to have to talk about things that I feel like are kind of, I don't know. I just hope that like I don't piss off the community or piss off anybody. I don't care if I piss off anybody, but like I feel like sometimes I have a different view on the way that we should like present things in society or how um I don't know. I don't know. Well, I'm not trying to piss you guys off yet. We're only on episode 5. I'm trying to make this a little longer than a couple episodes. But I think now like when I wish when I wish for things like on synchronicities and angel numbers, I wish for like stability for myself because like that's something that I never really had. Like I said, I'm a backpack kid. I've always lived out of a backpack, and so like not having a backpack packed full of shit, even if it's like not really useful stuff, like it just makes me feel weird. Like I have probably 3 backpacks full of stuff down there for no reason. Like this is my house. What am I gonna do? But like stability. And that's different than like being comfortable. I don't want to be comfortable. I feel awkward and weird when I am too comfortable because I feel like you only grow when you're uncomfortable. And I don't want to ever stop growing. Like, I don't want to ever stop feeling like I'm trying to get somewhere. And maybe that's like not very healthy because you will have like natural plateaus, right? Even in like they talk about that a lot, like during uh, like workouts and stuff. Like your body will plateau and you have to be uncomfortable, eat more food or do more cardio to get out of that plateau. So plateaus are normal. I just don't like them. I just feel like maybe I'm just too hard on myself, and that I feel like I always need to constantly be doing something, and that's something that I'm working on. Like not getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning just to go work out and then come home and make a video and edit it for you guys when I could like get up at a normal time and do that, I guess, if I don't have anything else to do. But like right now, I'm recording this and I feel like I'm late. I feel like I'm late for something, which like I make my own schedule, so what the fuck am I really late for? you know? I don't know. But I think that one of the things that like isn't very healthy and that like I realize a lot of people are doing now is that like reverse psychotherapy or whatever it's called, where you like dive deep into your past traumas and kind of try and relive those things that your mind has made you forget. And I don't think that that's healthy at all. Like, you were made to forget for a reason. Yeah, there are some like toxic traits that probably come with that type of healing, but I don't think we're meant to relive them. I don't. I think that like you're meant to like acknowledge like the habits that you're doing. You don't have to understand the background behind those habits, but you do have to understand that that is a habit for you. And then you change from that because I don't think that like reliving those things helps, you know? Maybe it helps some people, but I just don't think that like re-traumatizing yourself to try and understand why you do something is necessarily good for everybody. Some people can handle it, but I don't think that a lot of people can. And I think that that's like I'm not a therapist. I have no idea. Personally though, I just don't think that it's healthy. Maybe it is. If you've done it, let us know. But like realistically, it just doesn't seem like it would be something that's beneficial. Like maybe like you could talk like you could be like these are things that have happened to me and I feel like maybe this is why I have like attachment issues or detachment issues or I have OCD because I never had this and this or this was never right. Like, you know what I mean? But you don't have to like have a dream or relive like those things that made you you in a traumatic way, you know? And but that's just me. I have no idea. I'm not a therapist. But you know what? Sometimes I think I should be. Like I think I'm good at giving advice sometimes. But I'm also like the type of person that me personally, I don't like to vent. I don't like to vent about things. And it's not because like you don't need to because sometimes I feel like a lot of people do need to. But I'm the type of person that I know if something's not working, if something's not happening, if I'm stressed out or anxious, like I already know what I should be doing or what I shouldn't be doing or that it's all going to be okay. Like I already know that because I've trained my way to like I've trained my mind to understand that like everything's temporary and you're not going to feel that way forever. And I'm pretty like independent by myself. So like that's something that I did for myself. Is learn how to cope by myself. So I don't like to vent because I don't want to hear other people's opinions or like that little upbeat of encouragement that like, well, everything's gonna be okay. You should do this instead. It's like I already know. I already know. And like if I'm stressed out about something, it's just because like I can't fix it right then and there. And that's the type of person that I am. Like I need to fix it. I need to get it done and over with. And if I can't, then we got a problem. At least until I fix it. But I don't appreciate or I can't like understand or sympathize with the people that like to vent a lot and like to ask for advice often, but they never take it. Because like in my head, if you're not looking for actual advice and actually trying to do those things, like if you're not getting up and doing it right when you ask me, like you don't want actual help to me. Like some like the neighbor's always like I'm like, how do you do this on an engine? And then he'll tell me, and then I'm like sitting here till like freaking midnight trying to figure it out and doing it exactly how he said to because like I asked you for advice, I asked you for help. But if you're not getting up and trying to fix those things, then and you just want to talk about it, like why are you like there's the difference between like asking for help and asking for advice and then just venting, you know? And I feel like a lot of people don't know how to just listen. So I don't ever vent or talk about things because like half the time, like the advice is not very good. That's messed up. No, I'm just kidding. I do appreciate like different perspectives. So like if I'm genuinely asking you, it's because I want to know your perspective. Like I want to know if you're looking at the situation, like how do you see it? What do you feel? I don't know. Sometimes it's not always the best to ask people's opinion because like it doesn't change what you do in your life, right? Like other people's opinions doesn't do anything but make you feel like maybe your first natural instinct wasn't the right one, and half the time it is. So I just try like not to ask advice, especially from people that like aren't ever in the same situation as me or like can't put themselves in my shoes to be like, okay, well, I see why you would think this way, but maybe you should try this instead, you know? And a lot of people can't do that. Like step out and step in to somebody else's shoes. But I'm gonna try and make these podcasts a little shorter than my hour-long one that I tried to give you guys because that really ticked me off, man. Like it was so good, but the audio was so trash. And hopefully like this one's a little better. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm working on it. I am working on it. I'm working on getting a nice mic. I think that it doesn't help that I'm sitting outside with the wind, but you know, so I've talked about how I like to do some psychedelics sometimes, right? And the main reason that I like to is because we get so caught up like in life and what we need to do tomorrow and what we need to do today, the things that we're like our lists of things to do, right? And that's just life, like that just happens. And when I drop, like it makes me stop because you can't really, you're under the influence a little bit and shouldn't be doing anything that's permanent. Just having a little bit of fun. I like to stay in my childlike state because I feel like that's just gonna keep me young. That's just gonna keep the life alive for myself because I didn't have that before, you know? And like, well, I try and just give that little childlike experience to other people, like uplifting and upbeat and happy. So I do those things to kind of like reset and stop and like admire the beauty that is the world, Like the other day, I felt like was the first time in a while that I was able to like see the beauty instead of thinking about all the things that I have to do because I have so many things to do. And I'll tell you about it. Maybe it's going to sound dumb, maybe it won't, but it's never quiet around here, like ever. And I woke up and it was just like so dead quiet, which is weird for like a Sunday, right? Because there's people eating at the restaurant, there's cars driving in and out, and there's people walking. And it was just so dead quiet. Like I didn't even have music on in my car, like when I was driving around doing stuff, and it was just weirdly, oddly quiet. And it was peaceful. And usually, like not having background makes me a little anxious because I'm like, well, what's gonna happen? It feels a little eerie out here. But anyways, I was walking lady, and where she goes to like the bathroom is not like the most prettiest. It is not very cute, and there's like broken glass and trash and just we're maneuvering around all these things to because she likes to sniff. She likes to know what's happening, know what's up. But her cute little face is so freaking fluffy sometimes. And she was like walking and she walked right under this ray of sunlight. And I looked up and there's this bush with a bunch of I don't know what kind of flowers they were, but it had a lot of pollen on it. And like I've never really seen a flower look like that. Kind of like a dandelion almost, but way small with a bunch of little fuzz on it. And there was this bee and it was like it flew right in the ray of sunlight and then landed on this flower. and the pollen like fell off of this little bush, like right in front of Lady's face, right in front of the ray of sunlight, and like you could see every tiny little piece of pollen. And it was just like something that you would take a picture of, or something that would be in like a movie, like something somber and sweet. And I was just like, damn, that's fucking beautiful. And I was like, geez, am I tripping right now? Because that was just, it's so dead quiet, and like nature is just so beautiful. And like that's why I like to do some psychedelics sometimes, because it kind of resets that, like it kind of resets you to be in the now instead of being in like the future of what you need to do, or stuck in the busyness of what you haven't done yet. And I think that that is the way that I cope with like a lot of things, is being in the now for people, because nobody was ever in the now for me. Like I don't talk, like talking to you guys right now and making these podcasts is actually really hard for me because I talk on TikTok and I talk on Instagram about like my experience, and it took me a really long, it probably took me like 2 years to be able to actually have something to say. It's not because I don't have anything to say, but it was because nobody ever actually listened. So I never actually talked, you know? I was always the person that was sitting there listening or asking the question so that people felt like they were heard and listened to, or giving people that space to like dive deep into what they're really fucked up about. I was like that therapeutic friend that probably nobody asked for, but like honestly, I think I helped a lot of people. And even if I didn't, like I remember, oof, I was I did a lot of crazy stuff, right? And I was fucked up a majority of the time, but I do remember telling somebody, I said, I basically called them fake. And I said, like, who are you? Like, without all the hats and the masks. And, like, it was probably, if I wasn't fucked up, it probably would have came off so rude. And I wasn't meaning for it to be rude. I was just asking, like, you're always changing it up for all these people. So, like, who are you? Because you could be you around me, right? Maybe that's not okay. Not okay to say to people, but I did. And I think that, like, I I guard myself a lot with the things that make me happy. I gatekeep a lot of things that make me happy because people do not care. Because when I tried to share things that actually made me happy, like nobody actually listened or gave a shit. So I just started to like, I will give you 100% of me, of like my personality in a social way. But like when it comes to understanding me and the things that make me happy, like you got to work really hard, because I just won't. It's not about like hiding who I am, but it's about keeping the things that I love like wholesome for me, you know? Or like, you share things with people and then you like automatically regret sharing things with that person because they like just didn't care, or they're gonna like use it against you somehow. Like that's like I used to have that a lot. Like I used to be so open with being like, yeah, I'm trans, and then their automatic reaction would be like, oh yeah, I could tell, and it was just like, and then they would start treating me different, and then it just automatically made me feel like, why the fuck did I even tell you that, you know? I don't know, but I'm gonna cut this a little short because I want to get a pod out for you guys, and if I have to delete it again, you aren't gonna get no pods no more. I need to just buck up and get that phone, because I deleted like every app that I had. Like I had to re-download all of my apps after that, and I was just like so upset because it was so good. It was so shit, but it was so good. So I love you guys. Happy Friday. I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful day. And leave something in the comments. Drop a sailboat. Drop something. Let me know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what's something that you find beautiful in your day to day life. And if you don't, like, stop and smell the roses, because like that's all that'll cure a lot of things. But I love you guys, and I hope they have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.